So guys, apparently this lady, why do I keep finding trolleys everywhere? What the hell? Guys, what the hell? Anyway, so apparently this lady, who's a supposed, therapist, turns out to be a fraud. Turns out she doesn't have any qualifications. Oh, I can't wait to get this off my chest, and I'm going to kind of get into, in this video, why I don't trust the certifications, organizations, like outside of course of like the general fact that I believe at the top level they're all working with the devil, and working for their own profits. But we're not going to talk about that part in this video. I'm going to talk about the other reasons, because I have many reasons why I just don't care and don't know why anybody cares about anyone's qualification for anything. But before that, I have to warn you, I'm in a bit of a silly mood, okay? I've got way too much time on my hands because the kids are all doing exams. So I have more free time than usual during the day. And I've just been divulging in the internet. And one of the things that I like to do, and it's kind of like my own activity to help combat, the voices in my head where I'm like always feeling bad that, God is doing everything for me all the time and he never stops working. Like Jesus is doing everything. The Holy Spirit is dwelling in my body 24/7 and having to live in this wretched body of mine with all my decisions and everything, and here knowing my thoughts and all of that. And so I feel really bad a lot of the time. I struggle a lot with guilt, as I've said before, for just feeling like I'm not doing enough, like I'm not doing enough for God, as in like, not like he's making me feel guilty, but like I wish I could do, I could do and was doing more for him. And also, so in the midst of all of that, when I dive into the cesspool that is the world itself, it's really good for my mental health because I'm reminded about how dumb this place is. People really do, by the way, be matching the dogs they have. It's quite funny. Like, it's really, really funny. And I notice it especially because I'm always out, and I'm usually out. The only people you always see are dog walkers. And even then, I notice like the correlation between the types of times of day and then the type of dog and then the type of owner. It all matches up, like which kind of people walk their dog during the middle of the day when there's loads of people around, or the ones who are out, like when I'm out, who don't want to be seeing anyone. It's quite funny. Anyway, so I'm in a bit of a silly mood, right? Because just before I came out, I was getting dressed and whatnot, and what have you, and finishing up a few things I had to do. And I was watching this video of this guy, I can't remember his name. It's like Maz or something, I don't know. But anyways, this dude, this is where I'm like, this stuff makes me feel better about myself, like genuinely, because I'm like, at least this isn't the way I'm choosing to go and walk around in life. Because, with everything happening and with everything I want to do for the Lord, like I said, I really struggle a lot, not just with the guilt thing, but also with the fact that like, nothing is really happening. Like, nothing is really happening. I'm just doing my job, like making my videos, and when I'm not doing that, I'm out in nature, I'm just playing games, and I'm just like, I feel like I'm doing nothing, right? I feel like I'm doing nothing, and I'm just like, God, when is it all going to start? Like, I want to get to it. Like, I don't care, like, I don't care about having no freaking career. I don't care about having no flipping family. I want to get to the crux of it. Like, when he says to get to the underground tunnels, like, that's all I want to hear. That's all I want to hear. Other than that, I will stay in this current position. But so sometimes I feel like, I'm not really doing anything. And then, so this guy, he's like, goes around, and his whole personality, it's such strong loser energy. Like, I'm thinking the United States, and I can smell the loser energy from here, right? He goes around basically flashing his wealth, or let's say supposed wealth, i.e., he wears like all these chains, and he was like, in one of these interviews, he's like, I got $30,000 in my mouth, right? Because he has grills and whatnot. I actually want to get a gold tooth. I never talked about that. I really like to get a gold tooth. I just think it would be gang. Anyway, and all of this. And So he was in one interview, this was sending me, because I was just like, I can't believe people walk around the world like this. Like, I don't know how people do it, because to me, right? Anyway, let me tell you the story first. So he's in this interview, and the interviewer is like, asking in the interview, you can see he looks like he's sitting like in a private jet, and they're like, oh, are you in a jet right now? And I was like, yeah, man, I'm in a jet right now. I'm about to fly to Vegas. I'm going to fly to Vegas. I'm going to spend some money, and everything he says, he has to let you know he has money. And it's always the losers, yeah, who have to make so much effort to let you know, like, about whatever it is that they've built all of their pride off of. So, like, in his case, it's the fact that he has money, and he has money because I saw him on this dating thing, and he started trying to talk to the women when they were critiquing him and questioning him, because one of the women says to him, like, I think you're one of those guys who just like finds because he had pictures of him coming out of a helicopter, right? And he was like, I bet you just went into the helicopter, got somebody to film you coming out and pretended, and you never even flew and said helicopter. And I don't even think about these things. Yeah, I'm still too much of an idiot. You know, I still want to believe in folks. So, well, to be honest, I just don't care enough to think into it, to be completely honest. But anyway, so he was like, you don't even have I don't know why you're talking to me. Like, you don't even got enough money to be talking to me. Like, you ain't even got, and then she's like, because basically she wasn't interested in him and whatever, and they were on this dating thing. And he was like, and I wasn't even interested in you anyway, because you're not even on my level. She's like, good, because I wasn't interested in you. And it was just such a dumb conversation. Like, literally sounds like when I have like literal 6-year-olds arguing in the classroom. This is what they sound like. This is why I say adults are just like big children. And so a funny thing was, so he's in this other interview, and they're asking him, like, where are you going? Oh, you're in a private jet. He's like, yeah, I'm about to take off right now, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward. They're like, so the internet did what the internet does, and we've all found that you're lying. Because he had stupidly tagged, like, the place where I think he went to the helicopter thing, and it turns out it's somewhere people go and intentionally can book to go and take photos. The place he was sitting in a private jet, you can go and book, again, to take photos and whatever and what have you. And when he was getting asked about it, he was all like, and this is the bit that gets me, it's like, you've been caught now. Like, surely humility is going to enter the room. Absolutely not. He's like, well, you see, because it was the holidays, I couldn't really book a proper flight, and I just thought I might as well just film there. I mean, I could have filmed at home. Or whatever. I could have filmed in my Lamborghini. And it's like, these people are always so desperate, yeah? It's always the losers, yeah, living in these fake realities, because they're so desperate for attention, and they're so desperate to be accepted and to be seen by others, yeah, and to be acknowledged, because there's nothing inside of them. There's nothing in their character that they have anything to be proud of. They know deep down they're not working on themselves. So the easiest thing to do is to have something on the outside, which is going to bring me to these certifications in a second as well, where it's like, that's a nice car. It's going to bring me to what I'm about to say about these certifications, because basically there's this woman. I've really been like chronically online, guys, and I'm actually loving it. I think I'm going to stay chronically online for this exam period, because it's just a lot of fun. And it is really funny. Like, it's actually giving me life, and it's actually making me feel like, you know, maybe it's not that bad being alive, because low key, the human race doesn't disappoint in being disappointing. But then, like, sometimes it's actually funny as opposed to, like, depressing. So anyways, this woman, she's calling herself Dr. So-and-so therapist. Yeah. Walking around giving it the big un, as we'd say here, right? She's walking around giving it the big un. Yeah, talking about, I'm a therapist, licensed therapist, which you guys know, I don't believe in all of that anyway. I think God gives us gifts, and if that's your gift of what you do, it's already in you. Is it your job to work on it? Absolutely. But he gives us gifts, and we're all just gifted at certain things. So I do think there are people who are gifted in that specific area, as opposed to qualifications, because qualifications anybody can just get. And this is kind of my problem. She found out to be a fraud, which we're going to come to. Actually, let's start there. Let's start with the story. So she's basically, I wonder, I'm going to check actually. I wonder if they've painted underneath that underpass as well. Let's have a look. So she comes she's basically been booking people under the guise, you know, she's promoting herself on social media. These are the people that put me off, guys. these are the people why I don't want to be on no stage nowhere, and I don't want to be on no social media posting pictures, and I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to be anywhere. I don't want to be hosting events or going to events. It's people like this, because I'm just like, I'm not that desperate. Like, and also I take very seriously like the idea of, just because to me, right, this is what deciphers the difference to me about being a child, what it actually means as a difference about being a child of God and not being. It's not about, I'm surprised they haven't painted all of this bit. Yeah, they're not going to paint this. I guess it's got kind of mural. Interesting. Oh, we're about to walk into another freaking building site, because everywhere's a flipping building site in this town right now. So to me, the difference is I can put on any performance and I can pretend to be anything. So what reason do I have in life to be honest, authentic, to have pure intentions, if not only for having accountability to God? Because accountability to other humans, hold on a minute. Look at this. And look how stuffy this is going to feel so just, what's the word? Crowded. What the hell? And they're going to have a box office. I just can't believe this. I can't freaking believe what I'm seeing. I'm glad I was here for this, you know. I'm so glad I got to watch the death of this town. And not because I want to see it die, but because if I had to like come back after all this has changed one day, I would get the shock of my life. The literal shock of my life. And I think my heart would shatter, because it's just not needed. And again, I would just like to say again for the record, it is May 14th. I think they strategically started all this stuff before the local elections. As in, before anybody had a chance to actually be involved in the decision making on all of this. And another thing, this town, this is the first time in all the times I've been here during election time, where there was basically no like effort from the running members of parliament or the supposed potential members of parliament, except from like 2 posters I saw of the Conservative dude, and well, of course they voted Conservative here. Anyway, I had to check. That was like, I have to know what everybody voted for in this town. But I'm not surprised. It's exactly what I would have expected. Anyways, so this woman, she's doing this. Oh yes, I was saying that there's no other accountability. So I can get away with stuff. Like I can have friends and family who vouch for me or vouch for my character. But the truth is I could still be faking my character. I could just be putting on a performance. The only way you know somebody, in my opinion, is genuinely pure, okay, you can be, doing things from a pure place. And the only accountability that works is somebody that has a genuine fear of God, because you know that God knows everything. So ain't no playing in God's face. Like, I can put on the performance of a lifetime for human beings. I can convince everybody of anything, right? But the thing is, when it comes to God, it doesn't work that way, because he knows everything. And I like that about him, because although it makes me, it's uncomfortable at first, and it is uncomfortable for a lot of people, in the long run, it's the best thing that can happen to you, because now you are held account. Now there's just, you're kind of forced and backed into the corner to have to address who you really are and what's really inside of you, which means that you end up dealing with it rather than just trying to mask it or build up this fake outward persona or gaining acceptance and acknowledgement and respect through things that are technically meaningless, right? So, and then also, like I said, it's the looking after people thing. Like, I feel accountable when I'm looking after kids, yeah? I feel accountable to the Lord. So I'm not going to I would never, start trying to indoctrinate them or do things outside of my job description, because it's not my place. I'm accountable to the Lord. What I'm doing, I'm going to be held accountable for. I wouldn't want to do it anyway, but then one could argue that that's mainly because I've known the Lord my whole life. So would I have felt the same way if I didn't? I'll never know. But yeah, so, it's that accountability thing. And that's why I think the fear of God thing is so difficult for people to understand and is so lacking in the world, but well, obviously in the world, but even in the body of Christ, because like I said, it's easy to play the Christian, put on the Christian costume every day and know all the language and know all the the choreography, as I like to call it. And it's another thing to really be true to it. So I take, like I said, very seriously, looking at this little bookshelf thing and seeing what's in here. They've got a English thesaurus. It's quite good though. Somebody should actually take that. Thesaurus. Oh, interesting. Yeah, so when I see people doing stuff, it's like you can like scam people, but like I can't scam anybody because I know that God knows I'm taking advantage of the innocence and the pureness of others who are genuinely seeking out help, like say if you're a therapist, or in the case of children, I'm taking advantage of their ignorance. I can't do that. I can't do it. I can't. I really can't. So anyways, so this woman, this is what she was doing. She pretty much, and again, based on the world standards, sorry, I'm scanning to see how busy the store is. Based on the world standards, the world is like, in order to have certain jobs, you must be certified. Okay, cool. She is supposed to be a certified licensed therapist, and turns out she wasn't. And the thing is, it's actually very obvious that she knew what she was doing because she was being shady with it. Like, and this is the thing I've noticed about people that do wrong. They always play innocent, like, oh my gosh, and whatever. And she was another one who tried to talk her way out of it and shot herself in the foot. Because basically she tried to say that, like, on her website, it does, like, in the fine print when you're going to book, say that she's not a licensed therapist. So technically it is there, but she's gone around everywhere telling everybody that she's a therapist. And this is another one of the problems I have with everyone, which is, why do you just take people so easily at face value without checking that what they're saying, like without actually looking for their credentials and actually asking for said credentials first? I've seen this even with my own job as a teacher, right? Especially now when they're so desperate to like book teachers, which again, I get emails like every day. Like, oh, this new school, this other school, this school. And I'm like, I'm not going to answer any of them. I'm not interested. Don't care. And I've been a few times when I have in other schools, yeah. I will already be there in the school with the kids, like the school I went to visit in this town, right? I went to visit the new behavioural one, the one that has in every classroom has a quiet room that kids can go to if they need a moment to themselves. And it's very just like new school, mental health, support forward kind of place. They've left me in the staff room with the laptop with the access to all the information about the kids. All of their, what we call EHCPs, which I mentioned before. Hold on a second. Oh my gosh, guys, I don't know if you can hear it. There's the most precious thing ever. This baby is singing their ABCs. Then he can barely even talk properly. That's the most precious thing ever. Oh my gosh. Literally, whenever there's children around, my mood immediately shifts. Like, I feel like the heat in my head just disappears. And I just feel this feeling of just like groundedness and warmth and happiness. And just like joy, It's really weird. It happens every time, and I almost feel like crying as well. I was just like, oh, it's like it melts me entirely, because I'm just like, oh, the children. Yeah, so she was, so basically on her site it says that, but then also she was being very cheeky with it, basically is what I'm saying. And then when she was getting questioned about her qualification, they were asking her, like, hold on. What? So it turns out basically her qualification, she never finished her doctorate. She did like the first 2 years, and then she didn't finish, and she got caught out because she was lying about it on like the Breakfast Club, I think. And she was saying, well, the reason why I couldn't find the documents is because the school no longer keeps the this, so I just upload my transcripts. She's basically conniving her way into a story. And I know how this works, guys. Look, I've talked around intelligent people, or high people who consider themselves well educated and highly intelligent. And again, because it's another intimidation tactic that people use, this is why I intentionally don't fumble or like quake or like react to somebody who thinks they're so intelligent, because I'm like, and what? And what? Like, and what? And actually, I can be intelligent too, if you like. And I found myself in that situation a lot of times where people think they can get one over on me because I look like I'm not smart. And then I have to, I have to turn it on, don't I? I hate it though. And then I have to just fire back with a lot more than what was expected and change the whole way I speak and everything. And then they shut up, and then I'm like, yeah, and that's what I thought. And this is why I shouldn't go around talking to people, talking down to people, because A, you don't know who you're talking to, and B, why do you even want to make people feel small? Like, that's such loser behavior. Like, why do you want somebody else to feel small? Why do you need to make other people to feel small for you to feel big? But anyway, it's a lot of people, they benefit off of feeling like the most intelligent in the room, because people quake at the thought of like, oh no, I'm not that smart, so I should listen to this person because they're saying stuff I don't fully understand, which means they're more intelligent than me, which means I should listen to them more. And I'm like, no, that's not what you do, my friend. That's not what you do. And we saw this with this whole pandemonium we all just went through. Hold on one second. Everyone was so quick to trust the government, right, about health and healthcare, because they just kept using random jargon that nobody understood. And that was just a confusion tactic, in my opinion, because they're like, okay, yeah, we better listen to them. They know what they're talking about. Yeah, but it doesn't work when you're around people who think for themselves. So anyways, she shot herself in the foot, because basically everything she said proved, according to the laws over there in the United States of America, that she indeed must have not completed her qualification according to the information she was giving, and therefore she was not qualified. That's the long and short of it. She was not qualified. And this is what I'm talking about, you guys. This is what I'm talking about when I say that the losers are just roaming freely without a care in the world, going around doing whatever they're doing. Because she tried to then say, like on her website, when you book it, will then say, oh, that she's a life coach or whatever, which is fine. Like, again, I don't get why people lie about these things. You can just be honest. Like, I do this with my own job, guys, because, I don't have a teaching qualification. I'm always the one who volunteers that information myself. I'm like, hey, by the way, I do have this amount of years of experience and I have worked at all these places, but every time I always tell them I don't have a qualification before they have the chance to even ask, because I'm like, let's not waste anybody's time here. And if you want to go ahead with that, then go ahead with it. And if you don't, then that's absolutely fine. And I understand, and I'm not going to make an issue about it. I'm going to move on with my life and move on with my day. And so that's why, again, like from my standpoint, the way I'm looking at it, when I see people doing this stuff, I'm like, it just gives us such strong loser behavior, because why did you need to do all that? Like, realistically speaking, you could just be honest. But then again, it's because people, and this is what I need to come to. Hold on, let me actually grab everything I need to get and then actually just come back and do whatever this is that I'm doing here. Oh my gosh, guys, I just walked past this dad and his son, and they were singing together the song about cucumbers. And it was the most precious thing ever. Oh, hell no. This is how we avoid people we know. Anyways, let me pray and get out of here. We need to get out, guys. We need to get out. Oh, it's raining. Damn, son.
No, it's fine.
Low-key, I feel like I just want to go out there anyways. Oh, no, it's not even rain. It's hail. Damn, hold on. We have the strangest weather at the moment, by the way. Because why is it like, it's literally 1 minute, it's like bright and like I was getting too hot on the way out. Now it's hail. I would guarantee you in 2 minutes it's going to be like sunshines and rainbows again. But anyways, as I was saying, I got to go and do something else quickly anyways. Oh my days. What was I saying? Sorry, just running away from people. I would avoid everyone. I'll come back, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm so scatterbrained because I'm overstimulated, okay? There's too many people around. I'm seeing people I know. It was like, it's just too much. So as I was saying, she got found out to be a fraud anyways. And it's like, this is why I don't trust in qualifications anyways. Because I feel like, first of all, who gets to decide what is considered an acceptable qualification? Who gets to decide? And why do they get to be the one to decide? What makes them qualified to know better than anybody else? Because even when it comes to knowledge, right, we can all acquire knowledge. Knowledge is just studying. when you go somewhere, like when you're working at like, I don't know, your job or whatever, the only difference between you, your degree, and somebody else is just a piece of paper. Because in reality, you have people guiding you, and I guess obviously breaking things down to you, like of how to understand something. And but you're having access to the same information that everybody has access to. Like we all have access to the same information. So I just don't see why certain people are considered to be almost like, oh, because you went through this organization and you went through these specific people with these specific thoughts or whatever, that this is now you getting a reputable qualification. And it's really loud in here. Hold on. Like, so guys, it is actually raining and it's really wet everywhere. But anyways, this is actually the best weather we've had for May in like, I think in my entire life. Because the thing about my birthday, people always like, oh, I bet it's nice having a birthday in spring. I bet the weather will be nice. And I'm like, I hope not. I hope it's thunderstorms. I hope it's thunderstorms and rain. I hope it's ugly. I hope to see lightning. Like, so I've been having this whole week, low key, it's been cool. It's been too cold to keep my windows open. I've been having a little bit of chills here and there. So I've been loving life this whole season, this year. So thanks be to the Lord. And I know it's not specifically for me only, you know, but it feels like it because I'm like, God knows how much my birthday is the day where I consider taking my life the most, on my birthday. Every year, that's the day it's the most tempting. And so I feel like the circumstances came together in such a way that it's like, she's going to be like, okay, I can at least make it through the day. Anyway, we've gone off topic. What was I saying? Oh yeah, you get the picture. Like who decides? Because this is why, yeah, when my generation gets called, says that we're like not that smart and all this, I don't understand how that's fair. I feel like because we don't maybe perform as well as people would like us to in institutions, which again, what's really to blame for that? As I've said before, what? I'm gonna have to go in Sports Direct. I haven't been in here in years. Because what are they talking about? What? Gotta check this out. Hold on. Yeah, they talk about my generation as in not being very intelligent and whatnot and what have you, but I'll speak for myself. I really feel like there's so many topics and areas that I've learned so much more doing my own personal study since graduating and since school, that a lot of my knowledge, I think, even in my degree, a lot of it I've had to recap back over the years for my job. So when? Hold on. I've been thinking about getting some football boots. I can't even lie. There's certain sports where you do really need like the correct shoe wear. I wish Decathlon was still here. I could just be at work. I'll just get them, and then my manager, yeah, don't tell anyone, but she used to, no, don't tell anyone. She was allowed to do it. A lot of times, like if something was in stock, but it was like the last one, and they were just trying to get rid of it. If I wanted it, she would discount it like 80% off, and she would like hide it away and tell me where she's hidden it so I can go and buy it on my way out. You see, Decathlon is just amazing. Shout out to Decathlon. I hate stairs, guys. Any form of stair, I hate it. It just makes me feel disorientated. Anyways, I've had to, like, even for my job, like I had to, when I started back doing the maths and science stuff after it had been a while, I had to really like recap, because it's like a muscle that you have to keep using, and I had to really recap and go back and do things again, because they took off my favorite poster on Sports Direct. Oh no, it's still there. I'm not going to show you guys. Thirsty behavior. I've had to, like, I've got so much more value in knowledge from like my own proactive research than any area I've gone to be taught, except from, which is again ironic, when I did that business course, that's what I reference all the time. It was only 10 weeks. And like I said, it's called Urban MBA. and he does like basically, and he was the one who said it himself. He was like, he taught so much in 10 weeks. I'm just like, that changed my life forever. It just made me realize again why so much of this, like even going to university, is a scam in the sense of, I was at university, like actually in lectures, a total of 20 weeks a year. 20 weeks, and yet I'm still paying a full year fee when I'm not even there. I'm not even there. Like, and so why am I, and it just all feels like a bit of a scam. But anyways, aside from that, my key point and my main point being, who gets to decide and why do they get to decide? Like, why are they the ones who know what's best, or who gave them that right? Because you see with me and the Lord, right? And the reason why I listen to the Lord is, again, because of his character, because of who he is. I know who he is as a person. Why do I care about some qualification from some bigwig from somewhere that I don't even know? Why do I care? On top of that, I don't know if you guys saw this. Yeah, I've been chronically online, guys, and I'm loving it here. There was a 10-year-old who got asked to write an essay about change they want to see in the world that could help everybody, something like that. And they basically wrote, a 10-year-old, an entire essay about how anybody who buys like a new electric car to like help the planet. I actually hate this song, by the way. I firmly hate this song, and I never understood what the big friggity frickin' frack deal was. I just can't. You know what? We'll come back when I can't hear it anymore because, okay, let's not be ridiculous. But where am I gonna go? We've got so many jewelry stores now. Jordans, I'm sorry, I can't buy any more Jordans, guys. I can't buy any more Jordans. Morally, that's making me so sad. Anyways, what was I saying? So yeah, this kid, he basically said anybody who buys an electric car, they should be able to get some tax money back because they're helping towards saving the planet and whatever. And you guys know I'm against electric cars. I think if you really want to help the planet, it's really the big people on top. You know, I think if Jeff Bezos shut down Amazon, that would be a big help, I think. Because, I mean, the amount of how fast everything's traveling from all over the world, all the amount of cars we're going around delivering packages, then the amount of actual overconsumption and all of that, I'm pretty sure that if we just cut even that, it would have a good impact on the world and whatever. I love this, by the way. I've never actually been in here. Let me go in here. Basically, they have like it's called a community supermarket. It's really nice. I've never been in here, but I've been told about it. And basically, they have like all stuff at like really subsidized prices and like really cheap. And then also if you really don't have money and stuff, they can also help you out on buying stuff. I've never actually been in here. Wow. What a good use of this space, actually. Yeah, you see here they've got a bit where you can take vegetables. It says, please only take what you need. Oh, that's really nice. They're really nice. They've got a whole bunch of potatoes in here. Wow. This is really cool. Wow, I've never been in here. See? And it's always people of the community doing stuff like this. Like, that's what annoys me. And I mean, it's good because us as people, we should. But like, we put all these people in power. They've got a school uniform exchange section. Oh, that's so nice. They're selling it for £3 as a blazer. Sick. That's what I'm saying. It has to take some selfless people to do this. And then we're all paying all these taxes and all this stuff. And for what? For what? What are we getting in return? Corruption. Yeah, that's what we're getting in return anyways. So, he sends the letter anyway, the kid. He decides to send it to, there's book exchange here as well. I need to actually bring out the books I'm not using, for real. I actually do. Hold on. Problem is, I only read when I'm like traveling. So like, if I'm like going on the airplane or like at the airport or like in the train. Like I don't read otherwise because I feel like there's so many other things I'd rather do. Speaking of, the site I used to book all my flights offered me a voucher that cost more than more than it cost for a flight for my birthday. And I was just like, listen, don't tempt me with a good time. Anyways, he sent his letter to his local, I don't know, senator. I don't know how the American politics system works, by the way. If someone, actually, no one needs to explain it to me. I'll probably find like a 5-minute video on YouTube with infographics that will explain it. And this is what I'm saying again, where I'm like, I sat in school for how many hours learning certain things? And then I go on the internet and you have a bunch of people came together and made a 10-minute infographic, and I learned more about one topic in that one video than I ever learned sitting in school all day. But whatever the case, he sends the letter to her, yeah, and she, mind you, is like 88 or something. I think there has to be, if you have to be a certain age to be in those positions, then there has to be a cap of how old you have to be, because you guys know me, I always say aging is graceful and yada, 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 but homegirl was looking like, I'm like, you're 88, why are you still here? But it's the loser energy again of it all. Like, this is probably her whole personality. And the only reason I say this is because she sends a letter back to this 10-year-old who's written an entire essay with a valid idea, right? Again, I don't agree with it personally, and if a kid did that in my class, I would just, I'd be like, well done. I would encourage them, and I'll be like, well done. This is really good, because they're obviously trying and whatnot. But yeah, she sends the thing back to basically say, you're clearly being sold all this propaganda by your teachers. Your teachers don't know what they're doing, blah, blah, blah. Guys, I'm sorry, but the weather is, you can't see the clouds, but they're looking grey and ugly. I love it. I absolutely love it. Like, this is the best day ever. Like, this is actually the best day ever. But anyway, she sends him a letter back, and it's a whole long page. Like, again, talking to a 10-year-old, mind you. And then she's all like, you're clearly being sold propaganda by your teacher. Your teachers obviously don't know what they're doing, because obviously she's making all these assumptions about the generation. Because this is where, like, respectfully, I think my generation, yeah, it's not that we're not as smart. It's that we're so smart that we're so far ahead that you can't see us anymore. You think we're behind, we're actually ahead. Because now we know, now we go and get to live in the bubble, and there's not like a small group of people or a small area of influence on what we think. Because normally in life, we all don't used to, in the past, people didn't used to know what was happening in other places in the world. People used to know, like your area and whatever the news would show you. So all of our knowledge as humans, for everybody, was limited and controlled. Now, I know all about what's happening in South Korea. I'm up to date with my generation in South Korea who's going through the same thing, to the point they have a term called Hell Joseon, which means, like, they're saying there was this old family, the Joseon dynasty, and in Korea, you have to have a good education. South Korea we're talking about. You have to have a good education to be able to excel in life. Like, have to. Like, it's not like other places where, it's quite intense, right? And so they're having the same problem where, like Japan is another one. They've been reporting the same things of an issue with the birth rate. And it's all coming down to the fact that young people don't want to have kids because it's just not intelligent for so many different reasons, which again is ironic. This is why I say, where really is the sense and where really is these qualifications people had? Because again, even just from that standpoint, it seems like a lot of people had children without even thinking about it. A lot of us are now educated enough to know more about what it takes and what kids deserve. And we've just decided that maybe that's not for the best if I can't guarantee I can give them what I feel like they deserve. But then we're also villainized for that, because it's like, oh, you guys aren't having kids anymore, this generation, this. It's like, yeah, because we're educated. We might not be educated in the way that you think. Maybe we don't care about these organizations and stuff because we know they're all pedophiles. I've seen the picture with the Harvard professor, which, by the way, did you know that John Harvard, the father of Harvard, he was actually, you see what I'm saying? This is, again, something I've learned. He's actually a British guy, and he was actually a tradesman. He was a tradesman. Pretty much the exact opposite of what you would associate with Harvard, which, again, the trades are something I respect because that's actually a skill worth having, not a frigging piece of paper, But again, I've realized the piece of paper, a lot of times it's just for people, again, to feel good about themselves and to feel educated. It's like another thing to have, to be able to look down upon others and feel better than somebody else. Just like how I feel like a lot of people that, some people that go to the gym, not a lot, but some people that go to the gym a lot, their whole personality their whole entire life becomes, I think a lot about the gym. I think a lot about something that Solomon said, because obviously he was the wealthiest and wisest in all the land. He had 700 wives and 300 concubines. And obviously he wrote the book of Ecclesiastes, which basically just says everything is a vanity, da 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 da. But one of the things he said, and he says, don't focus on trying to be too good or all the time. Like, you just gotta live a little bit in life. And this is where, again, I feel like some people, oh my gosh, I'm catching them cutting the trees down once again. Listen, I'm catching them again. I'm catching them. Oh my days. The only reason I'm not showing you guys is because it's not the fault of the guys doing it. They're just doing their job, providing for themselves or whoever. So I'm not mad at them. I'm mad at the people who made the decision for it to be done. I am, however, happy for all the people who've got extra jobs as a result of all this work happening. That's one thing I will say. At least people are having an opportunity to work. And that's why I think if you want to make money in this country, you want to get a job, you should get involved in any part and every degree and level of construction. Because I remember even when it was a lockdown, all the roads all of a sudden were filled with people doing work. And I was like, So, again, a trade. See what I'm saying? So some people, they're having a degree getting fired literally in the same year that they've graduated from get this stupid piece of paper and going to debt. Meanwhile, other people are thriving, making money because everybody's inside, so now we can do all the work we want to do, and they're doing a trade, but then those jobs aren't even respected, even though those jobs are literally building everything they're literally how we're all living. Like, we could live without the qualifications. We couldn't live without people who work in any type of trade, whatever type of trade it is. That's crazy. But anyway, this is what I'm saying again. It's a tactic. It's a tactic in society of like trying to flaunt like wealth and whatever. I was saying about the gym, a lot of people get so consumed with something because it has such a strong connection to their identity, because they need it, because if they don't have that, then what are they going to have? Like, they're not going to have anything. What are they going to flaunt to the world? What are they going to show to everybody to get respect? They don't have anything. They need those things. This is what I've realized. They need those things. They have to create this facade. They can't just become the real deal. Because, I was thinking about this lady as well, yeah? By the way, the one who I was saying, the doctor lady. So, the fake doctor lady. I was thinking, that's actually kind of pathetic that you didn't see it through. Like, see through completing your doctorate. If you already did 2 years, because she has transcripts of 2 years, that kind of says a lot about you. Because why would you not just see it through? Because, like, that's kind of, I told you, like, when I was doing my degree, in my second year, my grandma passed away, and I did the whole degree for her, largely, because I was her oldest muzukuru, as we call them, like grandchild, and I just knew it would mean a lot to her, So I was like, I'll do this degree. She'll be so happy. She'll be so proud, and then she can feel like all her hard work she did was worth it, to see like her grandchild, because she's somebody who really cared about that piece of paper, and in her life and in her experience and in the times she lived, it really was, And I remember when she died, I wanted to quit so bad. I used to walk to uni every single day crying, because I was just like, I did this for her. I was trying to figure out, I didn't know how I was going to figure out to pay for her flights for her to come to my graduation. But listen, if I didn't eat for the entire of my last semester, I wasn't going to not eat, mate. I don't know what it was going to cost me. I was going to make sure that woman was there, and and so I wanted to quit so bad. But I was just like, I've got to see it through. Like, I've made it this far. Like, what's another year and a half? What's another year or so? And then I get to, like, actually have my full degree. And, like, to this day, as much as I say all this stuff I'm saying, I'm really proud, actually, of completing my degree. Like, I'm really proud of it. And I feel like I was thinking one of the most valuable things, I was thinking about this earlier, but actually studying, I think the most valuable thing about studying a degree is actually the starting and completing something, because that's something we struggle to do as humans. Starting a mission and then executing the mission until completion. I was hearing this story of, the guy that started Alibaba. A lot of the big businesses we know today, they pitch their ideas over and over and over again over years. They tried again, and then they tried again, and then they tried again. They got denied. They tried again. They didn't give up. That's winning. That's saying, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this properly and I'm going to keep sticking at it. Not how do I cut corners and try and get away with it. That's loser energy, because the thing is, you're going to get found out anyway. That's the thing about it. You're going to get found out anyway, because people are going to know that, eventually the information is going to come out, and that's low-key why I'm a little bit enjoying this season at the moment, because I'm like, I feel like in this season everybody is kind of being like, these guys who have mentioned this video, they're just examples that are not that important to anybody. Well, to be fair, to the people paying for them, they are very important, you know, because as somebody else said, which I didn't know, the one benefit of also having qualifications as a therapist is it protects the person, like, so, like, as in, like, you as the customer, because if they, you know, try to break confidentiality and all this stuff, it gives you more rights as a client, which that I think is a benefit of going to a licensed professional, like having some legal protections and whatnot and what have you. Even though we know BetterHelp, as I've said, is selling people's data anyway, but whatever. So yeah, I think the ability to finish something that you started, and that's something I think is the inability to do that is actually losing, because you only lose once you give up. You only lose once you give up, because at that point now, you could have always gone on. Like, think about it. She's built all of this. She could have just continued and then been critiqued and then being able to have like an actual qualification to say, yeah, I have got this. People are wrong. That would have strengthened her public reputation. But now it's just like, why would anybody trust you? Everything's going to crumble because you, A, had to be a liar. B, couldn't just complete what you started. Because like, that's even almost worse in my opinion than just lying in when you've never done any of it. And I'm just like, these are the losers of the world. This is why I stay laughing, you guys, like, about this stuff. Because I'm like, wow, I'm that desperate for something that you're not willing to put the work in for. Put the work in. And if you're not like at a place where you're willing to put in the work, be honest with yourself about it and deal accordingly. Like, decide to only call yourself, you know, a life coach, and be clear, you know, on your website or whatever that. Because I have that as well. Like, in my own business, whenever I get hired to do anything, it always says like in the like, there's like it's like an introductory form thing I get people to sign, and it says in there, like, by signing this you acknowledge, and I put all the information they might want to know about me in there, so it's like they're aware, and that's me doing my due diligence. And also because it's fair to them, because obviously if you see me out in the field, I'm good at what I do, you know what I'm saying? And when people ask, I can't believe I said this in an interview. They asked me at this school, they were like, how comes you haven't bothered to get a teaching qualification? I was like, because I don't think I need one. Like, I don't think I need one. Like, why am I going to go and waste, I didn't say this second part I'm saying now. Why am I going to go and waste another year of my life and more money when I actually don't have to? It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, and also I've got such a strong degree. Like, how many people do you know that went and studied pure chemistry? Tell me, how many people do you know that went and studied pure chemistry? It's such a strong degree. I can work in so many different fields. I can go down the nuclear engineering, materials engineering, and all of that. I could go into flipping what I'm doing now. I can go into pharmaceuticals if I like. I could go into food if I like as well. I could go into so many different areas just with chemistry, because everything has chemicals. Everything has atoms. Everything has atoms. So anywhere there's an atom, I can be there. So, you know, and so I feel like that's partly where my feelings come from, because I actually have studied something that's actually worth studying. I've got a qualification that kind of does mean something as well. But then it only means so much because, again, you know, people can even cheat. Like I said, there's the guy from the petrol station up the road. His whole thing with me is he was asking me to help him in his last semester, because he was like, oh, the whole rest of the time I've been paying people to do my work for the last 2.5 of his degree. He's been paying somebody to do all his assignments. So somebody else is going to see that piece of paper. He was like, I wanted to do the last part myself because I want to have done actually some of the work. And other people are going to go and see that piece of paper and think, oh, wow, this guy's got a degree. This guy's got this. Meanwhile, he didn't do anything. And people think AI is the worry, mate. And then, like I said, who's doing the qualifications? Because I feel like it's just another form of gatekeeping. If you're the one who gets to decide who's certified, then if you don't want certain people to be having those certifications, you can make that happen. And also, if you want to prioritize other people getting certain certifications, you can make that happen too. And that's why I feel like so many people are in power now in the way that it is, because they're all just, you know, putting each other in the positions and giving each other things like you have to study to get a degree, right? But then I was talking just the other day about how, you know, they wanted to give Charlie Kirk an honorary degree at this university that his freaking witch of a wife went to get, ex-wife, or his witch of a widow wife, right, went to go and collect. And wow, a lot of people have Ring doorbell cameras. I never noticed. And it was as easy as that. What happened to the study part? How can you just get an honorary degree? But you didn't study, but you didn't have the qualifications. But then when they want to do that, then you can. When you want to do that, then you can. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make absolutely any sense whatsoever. Just like how, you have to study this to become a lawyer. But technically, if you know the law and you know how to defend yourself according to the law in a courtroom, then technically you can just be a lawyer. But no, go and do the bar, go and do the this, go and do the that. You could just do all of that without doing it in an institution. And then you could still represent. That's why people can represent themselves. And like, are you sure you want to represent yourself? Well, hey, and people do. So spring is really spring in the air. Like, everything's really growing. Anyways, guys, I'm going to skedads because I keep telling myself I'm going to film inside, but then I don't. But yeah, I just had to get that off my chest because I just thought, this is so funny. This world is so stupid. And the way that we consistently, continually, repeatedly are always like protecting these idiots of the world, the people that are doing the worst things, and then acting like, surprised, or acting like any of these things matter. Like, these people know the game they're playing. They know that everybody's stupid. That's why they do it, because they know they're going to get away with it. It's like I keep saying, they do this stuff because they know they're going to get away with it, because they know how ridiculous it is. And they know you can just fake it. You can just fake it and you get away with it because people are not going to do their due diligence to check for the most part. Anyways, I'm going to go, you guys, because if life's a game, let's play to win. It's been a bit of a crazy one. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. And I'll see you in my next one.